The third world is not poor. You don't go to poor countries to make money. There are very few poor countries in this world. Only the people are poor. When people didn't have enough to eat, when people were driven to the edge of desperation, there's billions to be made there, to be carved out and to be taken. The capitalist European and North American powers have carved out and taken the timber, the bauxite. They have taken out of these countries. These countries are not underdeveloped. They're overexploited. They're overexploited. They're overexploited.
A very special good evening and thank you for tuning in. Welcome to another edition of the Lall Show right here on Kaieteur Radio. My name is Shikema and I will be your moderator this evening. And for tonight's program, we are going to switch it up a bit. Tonight, we will not be talking about oil and gas. Tonight, Mr. Lall will dive into another integral topic, that is the mismanagement and corruption of Guyana's resources under the PPP, the APNU, and the AFC. And also joining us this evening, we have a few very special guests, but their introduction will come a little bit later. So just a few housekeeping matters. You know, you can always call or text us 62222, or you can also shoot us a text on WhatsApp. Whatever comments, questions you have about whatever is said on the program, we will be happy to answer those for you. Or you can also comment and send your questions on our Facebook page, where we are live streaming the entire show. So over to you, Mr. Lall. You can dive into the topic.
Thank you, Shikema. Welcome, guys. Good night, Guyana. I'm so happy with all of the feedback I've been getting from so many people all over. I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you. All the praises and comments you shared with me makes me feel better, makes me feel great. It's encouraging to say the least. Thank you so much. Tonight's topic, as Shikema says, listen how the PPP, the PNC, and the AFC run Guyana to benefit themselves, their friends, families, and cronies. Before I get down into this issue, let me share a story that I encountered last week. A young man I know from Peters Hall jumped my fence Thursday night, went into my gym and took away my TV. He's so stupid, he turned away one of my cameras and walked into another one with his face wide open. Then he turned and pushed away the gym door camera without knowing his face get catch on the one he didn't see. So I sent a message for him to return my TV. If he doesn't, I will be appearing in front of the magistrate at Providence Court very soon for him. You know what I mean. I want justice. Ironically, it turned good. I did not get to catch up with my news during my exercise without my TV. While exercising, I was able to focus on what is taking place right now in this land and what took place in the past with the PPP, APNU, and AFC. What I'm seeing, or what I thought during my exercise without my television, I am seeing clearly Guyana is heading down a more dangerous pathway than before. Yes, than before. The difference between yesterday and today is not about the continuation of corruption, mismanagement, and white elephants you guys know about. What I'm already seeing happening will leave Guyana in debt. So much debt that our children, grandchildren, and future generations will not be able to handle. Guyana, you need to understand the game plan, the tricks and other schemes these leaders pulling on us with our assets. The way these guys running the affairs of this country spells disaster. Like the thief man who think he's smart and can't be caught, many of our leaders think they can outsmart us with similar type of crookishness and scampishness. Governments after governments have been doing almost the same thing to us in this country over and over. The way, the methods, their mentality running this country for the last few decades, just look at it. They have been doing everything to benefit themselves, friends, family, and cronies. Little Guyana, little or nothing is coming our way as citizens of this country. Our resources are being stolen, being siphoned off and shared away by our politicians like if it belongs to them and them alone and not the people of this country. Look at how the previous PPP government ran this country versus the APNU AFC for the last 20 years or so. And you tell me, if you guys will sit back quiet and have them continue running this place as business as usual, same old, or you want to see changes. Guys, Guyana, this is a new era in which we must demand changes. All of us should demand the old ways be removed and new thinking, new vision is required. We have discovered massive oil. We are number 2 with just 3 oil wells. Where are we? Where is Guyana? Where is our leaders' vision to protect us? We have suffered too long as a people to sit down and take whatever the leaders hands us as gospel. Our leaders, Guyana, have to start being truthful, honest, and transparent in everything they do. For too long, they have been riding us like donkeys, making us fools, dummies, and idiots by doing secret backdoor deals with our riches, our richness, our gold, our bauxite, our diamond, our timber, and now our oil resources. Exercising in the gym without a TV gave me the opportunity to think what is currently going on in this land. I remember some of the things the PPP government did to us and this nation. I don't know if you remember, but I'll remind, refresh, and enlighten you guys if you never heard or don't know. The PPP ran this country for 23 years, and them run it the way Donald Trump run America. You hear that? Everything and every deal only benefited Donald Trump, his family, and his friends. Let's talk about some of the white elephant projects we see around us and some of the nasty deals they did. For example, the secret signing away of our most valuable oil blocks and the secret deals behind them. Like I said tonight, I would not be touching on oil and gas. So let me skip and move on. Let's move to a project that has been in my mind and in my memory, and none of us should erase it. The Skeldon plant. Almost 180 million US dollars has been spent on it. And guess what, Guyana? It's a white elephant sitting right before us. You know who's involved in that? No other than the Vice President Jagdeo himself when he was president. He gave a promise to this nation that that project will become a reality. He said it will be a booming factory. He said if it does not, he himself will go and make sure it's operational. What he said is recorded. When he came out of office and was confronted with his promise, he said he can't remember saying so. Guyana is still paying for that. Another project is the Amelia Falls. What I'm saying, would I bring electricity cheap? A matter of fact, it's a 10 cents per watt to Guyana. That project, had it come true or come to pass, we would have been in almost $1 billion US in debt. All Guyana should thank God that it didn't come to pass. However, if you don't know or you can't remember, then build a road to the project site while they were negotiating that project. Then I never forget to give a man name, have my last name, Phip Motilal. This man never built a piece of pavement anywhere in the world, much as to build a road in the jungle. I remember he brings some old broken down equipment, hiding it while passing through the Demerara River with it. So ashamed that when we heard about it and sent our reporters, they were covering it with tarpaulin so we couldn't see. We still got those pictures because I remember sending a small boat when they passed through and they removed the pole-in, and we got those pictures onto now. Over 50 million US, Jagdeo and Brasington spent on that road to nowhere. Guess what, Guyana? Now, snakes, crocodiles, and chimpanzee running on it. You have this other one, the Enmore packaging plant that Robert Prasad oversee and initiate. That plant cost us 13 million US. You don't want to know. There's a couple zinc sheet and a couple small packaging plant they bring out of Brazil for a couple $1,000. And where is it today? We are left with a 13 million US dollar debt. And the packaging plant, I don't know if it's working yet or what it's packaging. I think it's packaging flies and crapo. CJIA airport, 150 million US and still counting. From a new airport, it turned into a renovation with couple plain sheet and plywood. The toilets out of order and can't even flush right now. The whole world is making us into a laughing stock with that airport. This brand new airport, our leaders say them build. Imagine this brand new airport they said they build. Doesn't have a parking lot, a cargo section, office spaces, nothing. This airport looks like some of our politicians' face. That's how I would classify it. Just as stink and horrible as they are. Let me tell you, Guyana, I, Glenn Lall, can give 3 better quality airports, 1 in each county, for that same money them said they spend. You understand what I'm saying, guys? Guyana, the Marriott in 2010, the Marriott cost almost 80 million US. That couldn't even pay the bills with the crookish deals. Sorry, Sir Jagdeo and Sir Brasington made on that hotel. God saved that project with oil fine in Guyana. It is now making a profit. Hadn't it been for oil, God, wow, hadn't it been for oil, that hotel, we would have lost it, and Guyana would have lost out big time. Only Sir Jagdeo and Sir Brasington them would have been benefiting from that hotel, not Guyana. Although we put the bulk of the cash to build it. We had sea defense projects under the PPP government. I don't have to tell you about those projects. Schools, hospitals, roads, water wells, land giveaways, bridges. I remember Sir Robert Prasad, he was agriculture minister at the time, announced $1 billion. And when we, on bridges, when we questioned him, he said they're building 27 bridges at Denham Still Back Dam and Parika Back Dam. I never forget that story, Guyana. We challenged him to take us and show us. Oh, he said that's not a problem. You guys get ready. Get ready. He took the reporters them in Parika Back Dam, in a mud dam, and showed them 1, 2 bridge and say, busy, you gotta go back, you gotta go out. And guess what he did? Such a dirty fella. I just don't like to remember the things these people did. You know what a guy did? Left one of the woman reporter to walk out the mud dam. That's what he did. We never saw the bridges they built, the 27 bridges, and of course, Guyana never saw that money, where it went. Maybe we should ask him to come on the radio and tell us what he did with it. These are the kind of dirty things they did. They want laptop per family. 1 laptop per family, 30 million US. They said they pay for 90,000 computers. You remember the Lenovo? You guys remember the Lenovo computer? Yeah. Yeah. Almost 70,000 SA each. And when we did some research and check around, our neighbors, Peru and other places, buy those similar things, did that similar project, and it cost them, instead of 70,000, less than 100 US, less than $20,000 per citizens in their country. This is some of the things that they did to Guyana. Drug purchase and drug bonds. You know, it is so sickening that Dr. Ramroop, he was given almost all the drug contracts under the PPP, depriving other small players. You know what I was told 2 days ago? That the PPP is back and the drug contracts is going back directly to Dr. Ramroop. And the players now complaining. 3 of them says, Mr. Lall, oh, we doomed, we dead. They're going back to the same old tricks in the trade. Everything for them. Let me ask you guys, how much more y'all ready? How much more y'all really need? Tell me, man, how much more? When is enough? Enough, man. Come on. Shame on you guys. You know, just those few things. Just those few projects I talked about has cost Guyana over 500 million US dollars plus interest in loans that are sitting on each and every one of us backs, yet to be repaid. Come on, Guyana. Come on. I am not guessing my way here. 26 years I am in this newspaper business. I have seen and witnessed them all. And it pains my heart to see these same people back in offices and ready to continue doing businesses with our assets in the same fashion. What are we doing? What are we doing? Where are we going? Those are just some of the project deals the PPP government did that left us to date with over 500 million US dollars in debt. You know, Colin Powell, once the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and Secretary of State, said yesterday on Fareed Zakaria show, the man said he was a Democrat before he turned a Republican. But today, he's a citizen, ashamed of what he's witnessing in America at this moment. Like Mr. Powell, Glenn Lall was a PPP, turned into a coalition supporter, and what I saw they did to this country, like Mr. Powell, being a citizen of America, I am 100% citizen of Guyana. We got a change of government in 2015, which I voted for. Like me, many others crossed party lines and voted for change. The coalition, yes, the coalition, APNU AFC promised. But what transpired within the first few weeks of them in power made me realize it wasn't a change, it was an exchange. Before they were elected, they promised to investigate and correct the many wrongs the PPP did. But what happened? All Guyana knows they did nothing and continued the same pathway of the PPP. When in opposition, they criticized all those projects. And when them get in, what did they do? Them went for a piece of the pie themselves. Yes, the first few months in office, they began behaving worse than the PPP. Everybody, and those of you who don't remember, the threatening letter from BK International that cost Guyana $5.7 million US. These, I want to use some words like what I just use in my editorial department. These sirs, not morons, pay that money with just a letter, a threatening letter. No court story, just a threatening letter on a contract the man did little or nothing, in which the PPP cancelled, right? And he said he threatened the new government to pay him, and they paid him $5.7 million US. These people think that we are all morons. Every other thing was business as usual. Look at it. The sea defenses projects, no different from the PPP. The bridges, the schools, the hospitals, the roads, the water wells. Anything different? Nothing different. Nothing changed. Drugs ban that resemble Ramrup drug ban. It just moved. It's changed from Ramrup to Larry Singh drug ban. The Albaistong drug ban, Bottomhouse drug ban. The drug suppliers only changed from Ramrup to them own people. Yes. What changed? Only names changed. The actions, the modus operandi remain the same. The asphalt plant, the coalition installed $448 million. That's a big joke. God. Last week we carry a story. We carry a story in which they're sending trucks, Anthony, to pick up the asphalt from Garden of Eden where they plant there. Next door got a scale. They may wait there. They bring them till to the harbor bridge to weigh. What do you think would happen from asphalt plant to the harbor bridge? It's like you go to the man sending to the chicken farm, you fill up the truck, nobody check it, and you bring it home for you check. This is the kind of business, this is the kind of nasty things these guys doing. One after the other. Like one telling 400 million. And nothing. Where is it? It's still looking like if they didn't even put a 2x2 wood on the stelling. Hey, are we morons? Are we morons to continue taking these type of things from these people? The COVID hospital. Jeez. The COVID hospital. They spent over $2 billion. Plus we still got to pay them our rent on the building. What they do? They put a couple gallon paint on the place, change some walls inside with some plywood, and they said that's a $2 billion. I could build 4 buildings like that, brand new building like that, for a $2 billion, less than $2 billion. I could probably build a hospital too, free, and still make profit. These are the kind of things they're doing to y'all, Guyana. They buy 4 drones for $180 million. When I saw that, the army and the government went quiet. For days, they didn't say nothing. They come up with some highfalutin language and technology telling we this drone has special features. You know, mega drones can give you them for free. And maybe could fly farther and do better things than them for nothing. And these are the kind of things they're shoving in your face. They buy helicopters for $414 million. I don't think any one of them fly off the ground. And all these things, we sit down as Guyanese and taking from all of them, the PPP, the PNC, and the AFC. Look at the land grabs and giveaways. Same like the PPP. I talked on a program a few weeks ago about 700 acres they give some foreign players. Not even a few more, and the people turn back and sell out 200 acres. Pack up their money in suitcase, US dollars, and gone with it. I think I would have given you, all Guyana, a mouthful in whatever I would have said there. For you to digest, and please don't forget. Please. I can talk a lifetime on these type of things. But I have been told that I am not giving people time to ask questions and to have this frank discussion with them. So I'll hold for now here and let us take some questions. Let's hear from our viewers.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Lall, for your presentation. Before we get into the question and answer segment, we'll take a very quick commercial break, and we will be right back.
The third world is not poor. You don't go to poor countries to make money. There are very few poor countries in this world. Only the people are poor. When people didn't have enough to eat, when people were driven to the edge of desperation, there's billions to be made there, to be carved out and to be taken. The capitalist European and North American powers have carved out and taken the timber, the bauxite. They have taken out of these countries. These countries are not underdeveloped. They're overexploited. They're overexploited. They're overexploited.
This is a hijack. This is a hijack. Highway robbery. Highway robbery. Two-wheel blocks. Two-wheel blocks. Oil black. Oil black. Oil black a heavy load. Oil black. Oil black. Oil black a heavy load. Oil black broke we back, oh Guyana. Oil black broke we back, oh. we back, oh Guyana. Black rock, we back, oh. Kaieteur and Kanji blocks they give away free. Black rock, we back, oh. Worth billions of US robbing the treasury. Black rock, we back, oh. Them kinda junky business they doing to we. Black rock, we back, oh. Our national resources gone to friends and family. Black rock, we back, oh. You give a Mercedes to a man with a bicycle. Black rock, we back, oh. Who can't even drive and don't have a license. Black rock, we back, oh. Then they turn around and say, Guyana, you owe we. Black rock, we back.
Alrighty, welcome back to the Glenn Lall Show on Kaieteur Radio. Good evening and thanks for staying tuned. So before we went on our quick commercial break, Mr. Lall had a very lengthy discussion on the mismanagement and corruption under the governments, the PPPC, the APNU and the AFC. So we have two very special guests with us in the studio this evening. We have Mr. Pastor Sean Greer from Berbice and Mr. Anthony Paltez. And they have a few questions on Mr. Lall's presentation, so I'll hand you over to them.
Yeah, first of all, I would like to say that it is quite a joy and privilege to be here. I have been listening to this program for quite a while, and one of the things I want to say this evening is that we have all listened to a very emotional Glenn Lall as he shared with all Guyana the truths, facts that the way he know it. And I believe that what is coming across very clearly from everything that is being said is the fact that our leaders must be kept accountable. And I believe I would also like to say that our leaders should want to be kept accountable. I also think that what I hear is Mr. Glenn Lall calling for truth, for our leaders to not only be truthful, but to be transparent. Transparency, I believe, is the cry coming out of this radio station. And so I would like to encourage those who listen to this program, as Mr. Glenn Lall is setting aside the time for persons to call and ask their questions. You might be thinking that these are just Mr. Glenn Lall's opinions. We all have opinions, but these, what you might call opinions, are backed by facts. And so I know for a fact that being a leader for many years, that leaders want to be kept accountable. Leaders want to be challenged. It is what makes us better leaders. And I believe that Mr. Glenn Lall has been very vocal about how he feels about the direction that Guyana is going. He has not favored one group, one set of leaders. I believe that he went across the board and covered many years of corruption. And so I just want to thank Mr. Glenn Lall for having me on this program. And yes, I have a couple of questions that I will direct to him, but let me give my friend Anthony a chance as well.
Good night, Guyana. Mr. Lall, thank you for sharing and for your empathy and your sympathy for this country and for this nation. You are like a woman that has 13 children and she cannot feed them. And every day it breaks her heart to see these children starving to death and she can't do anything. And Mr. Lall, you see Guyana going down the wrong road and you feel helpless. You feel hopeless. You are hoping that people will open their eyes and see what you see. And my prayer is for them to see what you see and to feel what you feel. You feel their pain. And we wish that we had leaders like yourself who feels the people's pain. A leader who would publicly come on television and radio and weep for his people. When last did we have a leader of this nation who wept for his people? In fact, I cannot think of any time in my lifetime where a leader of this nation wept for his people. Mr. Lall, my question to you is simple. Why do you call these leaders sir? Why not call them comrades? Because sir is a respectable term. There's, in England, there's sir this person and sir that person. So when you call somebody sir, it goes with a very high expectation. So you're saying they're sir, but then on the other hand, you're saying they're not acting like sir. So please answer that question, sir.
Thank you, Anthony. Before I answer the question, thank you for your comments just now. I just want to add. I just want to answer one of the things you said, that we are hopeless. No, we are not hopeless. Glen Lall is not hopeless. I am too blessed of a human being to be hopeless and fearless. I know I can see light at the end of the tunnel. I am feeling it. I know it. Things have to change, and we will get a change. I just want to help you. I want to help you with the wisdom, with the knowledge, so that you can get that strength, the same strength I have, so we can bind together. We can stand up together, we can speak together, and we can fight together to bring about that change, so that we can feed not only my 13 children, but all 750,000 Guyanese children that belong to me. As to your question, not addressing people as comrade and not sir, I never believe in sir. I have never called any leader sir. I have never addressed anybody, any one of our leaders, with that type of respect. I call him by the name. You know, if I'm speaking to Jagdev or Sebarat or Sebi, because even when he was president, I never called him sir. I never called one of them sir. Sir, like you said, comes with deep love, admiration, and respect for people. And I can't knowingly know that you is not running this place or using that office in the right and proper manner. I know that you're doing skullduggery, and you can get sir out of me. But why I've changed it to sir, I've talked to many people who said, man, Glenn, you can't call these people morons. They are our leaders, and you should address them as sir. So I could take that, maybe I'll drop the sir and maybe call them comrade now. Right? Even comrade I'm not comfortable with, because they're not my comrade. You know, maybe I got to find the right word to address them. You know, but it's very difficult for me. I find it pains me, and that's the honest truth.
Mr. Glendale, I appreciate the fact that you are willing, in spite of your frustration, to still address these leaders like they should be addressed. And I do believe that deep in your heart, the reason you have continued with this program is because you believe that there will be change. The entire Guyana voted for change. But do you think that change is coming, and how soon?
Change has to come. We are living in a moving world, a fast-moving world, and change has to come. If our leaders isn't going to make that step, you and I, Guyana, including you guys here, we have to get behind them and push them to make that change. And they will. They are human beings.
Yes.
All right? They are not robots. They are not the airports or the skeleton plant project. They are humans. They have a heart they have a mind, and they have a brain. It depends on us, each and every one of us, to drive them to make sure, say, hey guys, you got to change. You understand? And we can. They're our leaders. We have to. I believe in that. I believe in that. That we'll push them and we'll bring about change. Every day we do this. You know, I've been thinking today that like I want to hold an hour program every single night. Every single night. Not 3 times a week anymore. You know, I can do it every night. And I'm thinking about it. So change must come. Change have to come. I can't see, I telling you as my leader every day, look what you're doing here. Why aren't you making a better decision to benefit those people, plates, the grocery bill, their light bill? No, you have to. You have to. I will be behind their back every day. And I'll be coming with a daily program.
Mr. Lall, what do you say to that listener who says, we've been hearing about this change for 50 years, and still there's no change 50 years later? What do you say to that person?
I don't agree with that, that anyone who thinks that there have not been change. They have been changed. In life, life is not like stagnant water, bro. We change. We change. All of us change every day. You know, I did not speak to the vice president for almost 14 years. Didn't say hi, hello, nothing. Because of the things I see them doing. Right? And I said, hey, he came on the radio program. I greeted him. I met him. We chat. And it was a very changing spirit and moment for me and for him. Right? And I realized not talking to them and cussing them and fighting them every day will not bring about a change. We have to be able to have that line of communication open, right? So we can talk. I can say, hey guys, look what you're doing there, okay? Like I want to talk about the natural gas to shore, right? I'll be doing that for Wednesday. That they are like the fastest train with that. But I want to show that no guys, maybe you guys need to take a back seat and get some in-depth information as to what we are doing, what you're going to do there, you know. So we have to, changes have to come, man. Changes, we change every day. We change our own selves without knowing it.
A listener mentioned that you said there's been some changes, and they want to know some examples of the changes that you have seen, because they said that you said PPP was in power for 23 years. And then when APNU came and the coalition came, you said we got an exchange.
Yeah.
So 23 plus 5, an exchange. So the listener wants to know examples of the changes that you've seen.
No. When I said 23 and they're 5 years, 28 years, we got an exchange. Nobody was really nobody seeing. Nobody wasn't talking, right? Today's technology is not like yesterday's world. Today's technology, we have Facebook, social media, and the newspaper, radio, you just name it. It's there. And if you look at it, every little thing on social media and the newspapers and the radio, they run quick and say, hey, no. Hadn't we had, let me tell you, hadn't we had all the open technology we have today, the way APNU ran this place, APNU FC ran this place, they would have run it worse than the PPP. But because of technology, changes there. Lots of things change. And now because we have started this education process, and people get to understand what has taken place and what's going on, trust me, they're not going to sit down quietly, bro. So you will be forced to make changes.
All right, we have a question from Tony here. Tony, go ahead.
Hi, good night. My name is Mr. Tony Waldron. Mr. Lall, I want to ask you a question. For the longest while you've been talking about corruption, oil and gas and all these kind of things, I want to ask you one question. How do you sleep at night knowing that Guyana is in so much debt and you preaching every day for changes? How do you sleep at night with all that stress on your head? That's my question.
That's a very good question. That's a lovely question. I used to take it on, you know. I used to take on these things, these projects, and it used to bother me so much that I'll take out my frustration on my staff. Right? We'll have meetings and say, and you know, and even 2-3 of my staff leave Kaieteur News because they themselves couldn't take it. One of them, a senior one, tell me, boss, I can't make it anymore. This thing is going to send me crazy, right? Every day you come in and we just have to be banging these things, explaining these things. Look what happened there. Look what's going on here. And the fella couldn't take it. Just couldn't say, no, boss, no, I can't take it anymore, right? Some of them has become immune to it. You know, they say, well, it's another one. It's another one. But for myself, I used to really take it on, right? Take it on so much. Like I said, I didn't speak to these leaders. I don't even look in their direction. I don't even want to see them in front of my face. And they know it because I would talk it boldly and loudly. But I didn't have a radio station. The PPP didn't give me a radio station. And God bless me now with a radio station, right? And you may want to think it's the APNU AFC give me. No, they didn't give me to. I believe that everything happens and happens in its right time. Nobody can give me anything. That man above gives us everything, down to the clothes we wear. And that's my belief. So a radio station has landed in my hand, in which I am now using it. Maybe it wasn't the right time then. But back to the question you asked me about how I dealt with it, it was difficult. It was a difficult task. And just I have said it with my friend from Suriname who has radio and newspaper and TV. Every time I talk to him, I complain. So he came through and he says, I went and had dinner with him. And the man says, I started to talk. We started talking about the oil sector. And the man said, he said, Glenn, what Guyana got? I said, well, we got this, we got this, we got that. And I know what you guys got. He said, my God. And I started to complain. He said, Glenn, the guy said, Glenn, come on. You have stop. Stop complain. You talk radio. You know, he doesn't speak good English. You know, he's a Dutch guy. You talk radio, complain everybody, Guyana. And the man pushed his hands in his pocket, take out his phone and show me. He said, Glenn, look, I have radio program every night I speak. I have radio, I speak. I have TV station, I speak. He said, I go on radio and speak. He said, you stop talking. The man said, you stop talking to 1 and talk to 5. Go on radio, talk all Guyana. Right? And I looked at him and I said, you know what? I went to him that night. I said, I listened to him. And he said to me, he come through Guyana to go to United Arab Emirates. He began working with the government. He said, I come back through Guyana 1 week. I come back, I hear you on radio. And I went home and I slept and I said, you know what? This man is so damn correct that I don't have to complain to workers and complain. I'm going to get on the radio now and tell Guyana everything. And since I've started, right, I'll tell you, I have feel relief. You know, like this is why I tell you guys, like I'm so comfortable now that I can sit down and chat all day, every day. So that stress that I have is slowly being released, in which I can live a good life now. I could go drink my coconut water and vodka all over the place.
Yeah. I believe, Mr. Glenn, the question that was just asked describes a lot of Guyanese who live with the heartache of what they see happen in their country, and the fact that they do not vent, they do not speak, they do not have a place to do that. It frustrates. Isn't it true, Mr. Glenn, that ignoring what is happening will not bring change? It will not bring change. I believe what I hear from you is not only are you condemning the corruption, but you are challenging our leaders to accept and do better.
Yes.
We have seen this happen
Correct.
for so many years,
Correct.
and we do not want this to continue. Let me say that leaders are people who make decisions every day, and everyone who makes a decision and are in the capacity of leadership are going to fail. And so our leaders have failed. But what I think you are calling all Guyana to do is to start speaking up. Point out the failures of our leaders, not condemning them, but challenging them to do better. We do not want Guyana to continue with new faces but same old stories. And so I commend you.
Perfect.
Because this program should not be seen as one that condemns everyone. And I believe persons have called. I've actually heard people call and ask you if you think you can be a better president or leader or minister. But that's not the point here.
That's right.
The point
That's right.
is a better Guyana for
right.
all.
That's right. And we all have to stand up and speak out.
Yes.
Right? But I keep telling people, when people call and talk about protests, get out in the streets, because plenty of people keep calling and asking that, when you're ready. I'm like, guys, relax. We are not here to get out into the streets. We are here to educate people as to what is happening in their country. When we educate them and they understand, they will be the ones to speak. They themselves will get out in front of their leaders and protest and march down the streets. Glenn Lall don't have to do that.
Mr. Lall, the Arab Spring started with one vendor, simple vendor, who had enough. He said enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
And that one vendor started a revolution for not just his small country, but the entire Arabic countries.
I remember
So,
that story.
do we need someone like him to start that fire so that Guyana can have it Arab Spring or the Guyana Arab Spring?
As much as I would want to agree with you, I don't believe we reached that stage yet. I believe that we have leaders who will change and who will do the right thing to benefit Guyana. I believe that. The Tunisia vendor that created that stir, that bring about the changes in Egypt and all over, I follow them. I know the whole story. We're not ready for that yet. When things get out of hand, when we can't get a fair share of our assets to bring food on our table, maybe then, only then, people will start to react. But unless you educate them, unless people begin to feel their pockets empty, unless the people beginning to get hungry when they're seeing no food, then they will react. You will get many thousands like Glenn Lall. But it takes time.
But the Guyanese people, Mr. Lall, react mostly instead of fight, they flee. They don't fight. They vote with their feet and they leave.
Well, it's a culture we have. And even culture changes all over the world. You know, like I said, I was a PPP. And I voted coalition. And many others voted. You got people who said they're PNC, they voted PPP. Things are changing, things have to change. We can't help that.
Mr. Lall,
Do you not believe that our leaders, I believe I just heard you mention a little bit, can do better? Do you not believe that?
Oh, they can do better, and they will do better.
Okay. And the reason I'm asking that is because lots of people listen to your program, and they might go away with the thoughts that you're condemning. You're saying they're not good. I believe that what is being asked is transparency, truth, justice. How is it then that lots of things were talked about as being corrupt in the past? How is that being handled now? Is it being pushed under the rug? Is it being forgotten? How is it that justice is served to everyone else other than our leaders? How would you answer that?
I said changes have to come, and changes can only come with the people. We have to keep focus, and we have to keep exposing, and we have to keep educating the people. You know, while you were talking there, I recall the very few weeks this new PPP went in. One of the minister's son gotten some contracts, and when it came to in the editorial department, when we were discussing the story, you know, we were saying, wow, it's like they come back hungry, you know, because as soon as they get in there, their son get involved, and I'm like, wow, but we exposed it, all right, and I was told, all right, it caused a little rift in the party, and a lot of pull-ups went on, and was a message sent. You understand? So at least when I hear things like that, I feel good.
Yes.
Because you know that, hey, well, this thing can't, I know it will continue, but it can't continue the way in which they went about doing it with the contracts. So things will bring about you as we expose and as we peep and seek into them. And like I said, today's technology and the people in there, they themselves will begin to understand and say, no, I can't keep a secret anymore. I'll leak this to the press. It's like the pharmacy them, the drug suppliers them. They're already complaining. And only yesterday they told me this. That's why I said it on the radio today. You understand? It's wrong. If that is so, it is wrong. And it has to change.
Mr. Lall, do you think we will see that change in your lifetime?
Oh, come on, man. Don't tell me that. I have a long time to live. And trust me, we will see changes very soon. And I will be exposing the changes. I'll gladly report on these changes. You have to. You have to. How long you think they're going to run duck and hide? Joseph Harmon, the comrade Joseph Harmon, the opposition leader, he boldly said he had to put together this oil team, the APNU AFC oil team, to meet the press. And he think that will go away. He lied. We will be talking about that. A matter of fact, if we don't hold it, I plan to do a front page banner on the newspaper and a front page banner on the radio. Say, calling him out. You have to step up to the plate. You can't run, you can't duck, you can't hide. You're the opposition leader. So, we're still waiting. We discuss it almost every other day. We make laugh story out of it almost every day with him. You, the opposition leader, went in there for 5 years, actually run this country. And you telling me that you going to put together, come talk to this nation on oil and gas? Oil and gas, to which where the whole world is talking about, and you silent? We're making us morons or donkeys? No, he can't do that. We will never sit back and allow him to do that. No. A matter of fact, he sent a press release a few days ago, and I'm not ashamed to talk it, on what is happening in America. And we discussed it, and when we discussed it, the entire staff laughed and said, which newspaper is going in? You know? And they are saying that he can't write a press release saying that, hey, I'm going to hold oil, or this is what's going on in the oil industry. But he want to come in the media to say he's talking about America elections and democracy. No, Joseph, no, not here. Wrong place. You got to keep that for your up new newspaper, your up new news outfit. When you decide to come clean and clear to this nation as to the role you play and your party played in the oil deals of this country, you will be treated fairly and squarely. We love to carry your comments and your press releases and so on.
All right, Mr. Lall, as we wind down to the final minutes of the Glenn Lall Show right here on Kaieteur Radio, I would like to ask for closing statements.
Before you give your closing statement, I have one last closing question. Mr. Lall, what keeps you up at night?
What keeps me up at night? Nothing. My daily routine job. That's what keeps me up. I swear to God, when I get to my bed, you count 1 to 10, and I fast asleep. You know, when people ask me anything, nothing bothers me. You know why nothing bothers me? Because at the end of the day, when I leave this newspaper, I do it to the best of my ability, without no fear in me, or I did anything that I have to question myself. I do it very clear that tomorrow morning, if I don't wake up, I'm good with my maker. That's what I do. So I don't do anything maliciously or in a wicked fashion. No, I don't do anything like that. So I can sleep. It's people who do evil, brother. People who live an evil life. People who wrong others. Don't sleep.
So, Mr. Lall, some people think that you have that unique gift, like a Gandhi, a Mandela, that it's something that burns inside of you, that it's not natural. Most people don't have it. Very few people have it. Do you feel that you have that special, unique gift like a Gandhi or a Mandela?
No.
Or Dr. King?
No way. What I do know, and I tell my staff, I am a blessed human being. I know it, I feel it, I smell it, I eat it. I know that I'm blessed. Because my staff just tell me, we chat just like this every day for almost 2 hours, all the entire in our meetings. And I have like bang, they come up with something and I give them. I have predicted so many things from years back that every time, so most of them come, they see it come to pass. So it's more of your guidance from the Creator. He guides you. He directs you, man. He directs me for sure in everything I do.
But that's precisely the point. Do you believe that some people are guided specially, uniquely, like a Mandela, like a Gandhi, and maybe like yourself?
No, maybe. Yes, maybe. That's more for a pastor or a pandit or an imam to answer. For me, no. I'll pass on that one. You know, but I know that I'm a blessed human.
But don't forget, it was a market vendor.
Yes, I know that.
Okay.
In Tunisia.
So you don't have to be a pastor. You don't have to be a lot of important. You can be a market vendor, and you got that word to make a change.
Well, I know that I have the ability, all of us have the ability to contribute to bring about a change, not only in our lives or in our family lives, societies, country, and the world at large. Everything we do, every change we bring about individually has a domino effect on the entire world. Yeah. So all of us have that ability to bring about a change. Maybe some of us are a little more blessed to, like I said, I don't know, but hey, we can do that. We do that. We do that. Yes, Shikema?
Yes, Mr. Lall, closing statements for everybody.
Okay, can I go?
Yeah, you can go, and then we'll leave Mr. Lall for last.
I believe, Mr. Lall, that God uses ordinary people to do extraordinary things. And in as much as you can consider your calling and your life very ordinary, the question was asked, how do you sleep at night? And my counsel would be commit Guyana into the hands of God. Let's pray for this country. But let us not forget, Guyana, that we have a job to do. We have a voice. And faith without works is dead. And so in as much as we trust in our God to bring about a changed Guyana, a better Guyana, a more godly nation, God has placed on us responsibilities that we have got to carry out. And so I commend you for your role in all of this. I would like to call on all of our listeners to keep supporting a better Guyana. Know for sure that your radio station, you, Mr. Lall, will be in my prayers. We pray that more people would not be afraid to stand up and speak out and demand change, because we do believe that our leaders can do better. They can do better. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. Lall, I just want to say that that I thank God for what you're doing. You don't believe, you don't know, but there's a lot of people who are hopeless, and you give them hope because you have hope. And I believe that you were called to do what you're doing for such a time as this. And I pray that God will protect you, and I pray that God will give you the ability and the wisdom to carry out the work that He has called you to do, to take away any fear, and to encourage you daily when you get discouraged to continue doing God's work and to help the poor and the disadvantaged of this nation. Thank you.
Yes, me?
Yes, you, Mr.
Thank you,
Lall.
guys. What is a lot of praise being showered, man. Thank you, guys. I also believe that, like Pastor, you said that we have a purpose, and I know we have a purpose here or not. I know each and every one of us were sent here for a specific reason and a purpose, and that's what we're doing. We're carrying out our purpose. We're carrying out His will. And like I always said, if you understand that in your heart, you can walk this world without any fear. You know? So that's what I do. In closing, I just need, Guyana, I just need to let you know that our politicians need to recognize their failures and hire experts and competent people to help negotiate better deals with our investors and our resources, so that Guyana, you and me, can benefit. Benefit not from crumbs, not cleaning, security, and painting jobs, but real value. Have a blessed night.
Well, with that, we've come to the end of the Glen Lall Show. I hope you guys enjoyed the fruitful discussion we had about Guyana's resources. And I hope that you will join us on Wednesday and also on Friday, same time, same place, for another edition. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your input, and we hope to have you again. Yes. With that said, have a very good evening and join us again.
the third world is not poor. You don't go to poor countries to make money. There are very few poor countries in this world. Only the people are poor. When people didn't have enough to eat, when people were driven to the edge of desperation, there's billions to be made there, to be carved out and to be taken. The capitalist European and North American powers have carved out and taken the timber, the bauxite. They have taken out of these countries. These countries are not underdeveloped. They're overexploited. They're overexploited. They're overexploited.